Hello and welcome to the Interactive Studio live at the European Utility Week. I'm Sofia and I'm joined by Jessica Stromback. She is the chairman of Joule Asset Europe and the chairman of SEDC. How are you, Jessica?
Oh, very well, thank you.
Thank you for joining us and for taking the time.
Thank you.
Let's kick this interview. So you spoke yesterday in the energy efficiency track.
Yes.
Can you tell us your main key takeaway? What was said?
Yeah, I mean, for me, a key takeaway was that we've really gone from looking at energy efficiency as a sort of static, put in new windows service to save energy. And the key takeaway, I think, from the entire session was that this is becoming actually a much more holistic service and part of the wider picture of the energy transition. So you improve the payback of energy efficiency if you also install renewable generation, if you include management, which allows you to do demand response. It's a much more holistic service.
Okay.
And I think that one of the things we saw was that this brings opportunity and challenges. You have the opportunity of all these exciting new business models you can do, but you have to understand those business models. You have to have the technical expertise. You have to have the people on the ground that can explain them to the customers. And so that also showed up the need for training, but then also partnerships, which is, of course, one of the things that's great about this event is that it's the perfect place to
meet everyone, the whole ecosystem, and basically agree on the same level, so the customer have an easy way of understanding.
Yeah, you can meet the people who would be possible partners in that.
Understood. My managing director, Adam Malik, went to your event 2 weeks ago in Lisbon. He was founding Focus. Can you tell us a little bit about the event, first of all, and about the gap that there are actually in the founding, not market, but let's say sector, and key takeaway of that event as well?
Sure. So we had an event, Investor Days Lisbon. It's the third Investor Days we've held. And what we're doing there is bringing together investors and project managers. And the tool we're building to service, these are basically promotional events for this tool that we're building called SEEF. SEEF is being designed to support, if you will, the last mile of investment. So in the energy industry, we think of, the last mile being the connectivity into the home. Well, we have the same dynamic in finance. That if you're a large company, you have large projects, you have finance available. If you're a smaller company and your project is below $1 million, finance becomes really difficult. And SEEF is being designed to automate part of that process, support part of that process, and we've also developed a network of financial funds that are dedicated to making this work. And it's about €1 billion some euros within that network of funds. So it's really to make these two communities meet, but to bring the last mile of finance. So how do you enable that commercial site? How do you enable that business? That doesn't require 5 million of investment, but it requires 200,000 or 300,000. So that's what we're doing. And during the event in Lisbon, we had these two groups talking and meeting. And I guess one of the main takeaways is that it's good they talk.
Finally they met.
Because it's needed.
Yeah.
So there's a real sort of problem solving, discussing, this is what we need, this is what you guys, trying to meet, have the minds meet.
There needs to be a cooperation between the brilliant. And so this SEEF platform or tool, can it be related to the energy industry?
Absolutely, because it, without enabling and empowering the customer, in the end, all of this is useless. In that you're never going to really improve the life of the customer. You'll never succeed in empowering decentralized resources, et cetera, all this that smart city, smart home, in the end, it's all about that. You can't really do that if you can't pay for it. And so it's important also for the energy industry that this financial issue is resolved, that smaller projects, which means individual customer projects, be they a business or a home, can have access to feasible financial resources. Because otherwise, how are you going to get it off the ground?
Of course. So this is a multi-layered approach and is of course really important. What are the challenges and the opportunities that we can see in this?
Do you mean with the finance? Or?
Yes, we can do a little part with finance and maybe with energy as well.
Sure. Maybe I'll start with energy.
Okay.
One of the challenges, okay, if you go to a centralized system, it pretty much is designed to work that way, right? We've been doing it for 100 years. Everybody went to school to study this, right? So it's not a challenge. When you're looking to change things, because we have a deregulated market in Europe, you have all these players who all have to change a little bit to make this one solution work. Demand response is a perfect example. If you want to enable demand response, you have to be conscious of it, even in market design, down to the type of automation in a building. And that entire value chain has to work as one united functioning unit. Well, good luck.
Yeah, well, because there's plenty of actors.
Exactly. So there, a multi-layered, holistic view is absolutely critical, because otherwise you're not going to make it happen. So just in an energy industry perspective, it's just critical. I mean, either you do that or it won't work.
Okay, and what about the financial then?
And the financial bit is the same, because you have this last mile of finance, which is complicated. Okay, fine. But again, to really bring the full value and really, do more than change light bulbs, you have to interact with the markets. You have to have network codes that allow you to install renewables. You have to have meters that transport that data. All of that has to be in place. So you're still stuck with a multi-layer
so it's still the same
thing.
And is
Yeah, and you need financial funds that don't look at that and become terrified and run as far as they can in the other direction, which means you need to package that, understand it, package it as a single unit to the financial fund, so they see it as a holistic piece and not a million moving scary parts.
Exactly.
So that's a big part of what we do.
And is there any difference between Europe and America?
Yeah, it's interesting. So the US has sort of larger, simpler structures.
Okay.
Where it's easier to get the money. America's good at business. That's what it really comes down to, right? I mean, if you have a regulator and you say this is bad for my business, they'll generally speaking fix it. I mean, if you say it's bad for the environment, they're not going to care. But if you say it's bad for your business, they'll do something about it.
Ring a bell and
let's ring a bell and change this. So it means it's much easier to structure projects. It's interesting that that's true. Things that are impossible here are possible there. The other side of it, yeah, sort of, is that the technical capabilities of companies here who are successful is really high. And so what's fun is to work with these really talented groups of people, really talented engineers who are coming up with very complicated, innovative solutions. And package that and enable it here. So you don't have as easy a market structure, but we're sort of making up with it through just being smart. And trained engineers, really packaging things, working hard on that. And so you still manage to do a lot, actually.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So Jessica, we have time for a last question. I wanted to know, in your opinion, what will be the next big thing, let's say for 2017 and 2018?
Sure. So, in my view, 2017, 2018 are the years of storage.
Storage.
I think you're seeing renewables really becoming ubiquitous. They can be afforded basically anywhere. And that is just making the ability to store energy that much more interesting. When I speak to the more innovative companies and also the more innovative funds, in fact, that's what they're really looking to enable. And I think the pressure is just growing to really bring that into the market. So
okay.
Give us 2 years, we're going to be there.
So we're going to look out for storage.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you
Yes.
very much, Jessica.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Yes, same here.
And to the audience, remember that you can watch all the European Utility Week video interviews on our Interrat YouTube channel. Goodbye.